going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman. And guys, if you were wondering where the line was, turn around because it's way back there. Okay? We have so far crossed over the Rubicon. It is absolutely insane. We got this story here from Timcast. Transgender identifying Minnesota representative seeks to redefine pedophilia language in the state law. Minnesota State Representative Lee Fink, who identifies as a transgender woman, introduced a bill seeking the removal of language that associates pedophilia with a person's sexual orientation from the state's Human Rights Act. Fink's Take Pride Act, introduced earlier this year, seeks to strike language that currently states pedophiles are not included in protections based on sexual orientation. Minnesota's Human Rights Act currently protects discrimination based on sexual orientation and defines the term as having or being perceived as having an emotional, physical, or sexual attachment to another person without regard to the sex of that person, or having or being perceived as having an orientation for such attachment, or having or being perceived as having a self-image or identity not traditionally associated with one's biological maleness or femaleness. Fink's bill counters the state's Human Rights Act, as the Minnesota representative claims the measure updates outdated language that incorrectly ties pedophiles to a person's sexual orientation, or pedophilia to a person's sexual orientation. Nothing in the bill changes or weakens any crimes against children or the state's ability to prosecute those who break the law, Fink said in a statement to Fox News Digital. Of course, pedophilia is not a sexual orientation. See, this is the problem that I have with these people. I do not trust them. Because think about where we were back during the Obama era. Barack Obama said, gay people should have the right to get married. And we said, okay, that's a slippery slope, though. That is a very slippery slope. And Democrats were saying, no, that's not, it's not a slippery slope. That's a fallacy, whatever. And here we are. Here we are, where we have a transgender, which is a mental illness, by the way, a transgender representative in this state legislature who is attempting to soften the language in their Civil Rights Act around pedophilia, and it would introduce the language. It would say that seeks to strike language that currently states pedophiles are not included in protections based on sexual orientation. So by removing the language stating that they're not protected, it would imply, or it opens the door for them to eventually become protected by the state's Civil Rights Act. Guys, they are coming for your children. This is a fact. Now, they're coming for your children because you have to understand, these people, transgenders, for example, or just transgenders, yes, they cannot produce children. Many of these people are infertile, mostly because they have taken puberty blockers, which have chemically castrated them, or they have had some kind of sexual sex change surgery, which also castrates them. They cannot produce children. Okay, so the way that the transgender community gains more members is by convincing your children that they are trans. They have to go after your kids. And many of these people have been through abuse. Many of these people have extreme mental illnesses. And many of these people are pedophiles. Many of these people are pedophiles who want to have a sexual relationship with your child. This is real. It's right in front of your face. Conservatives all the conservatives, it's right in front of your face. Okay? This is not a day and age where conservatives can sit back and be soft anymore. And it's definitely not a day and age where conservatives can sit back and be tolerant anymore. You know, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, he went on Twitter. This was, I want to say it was last week, and he said that conservatives accept people from far and wide. You know, everyone who is against the left is always welcome on the right, and that's how the right is able to gain momentum and do, you know, whatever. That's essentially around, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's essentially around what he was saying. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. There's certain things, like, don't get me wrong, we should continue to be accepting of others. Absolutely. But I'm sorry, there are certain things, there are certain policies that we should never tolerate. And the right is so soft. They're so scared about, oh, you're transphobic. Like, they're going to call you that either way. They're going to call you that either way. It doesn't matter. You could be saying the most pro-trans thing ever, but because you're a conservative, they're going to call you transphobic. It's just what the left does. You've got to get out of this fear of being called names. They don't mean anything. Guys, we cannot be tolerant of this. Now, the way that they are going to try to continue to push this on your kids is continually through the schools, okay? They're going to continue to do this to the schools. You have got to homeschool your kids. If you are a conservative and you are seeing all of the things going on in schools, the way that they are introducing sexualized books into schools, the way that they are teaching not just sex ed, which is what I had when I grew up, which they were basically just teaching about the biology of the human body and how it works and what happens when two people have a sexual relationship and what is childbirth like, very simple things that young adults might need to know. Now they're teaching kink, okay, using things like toys and whatnot. If you get my drift there, guys, they're pushing this on your kids. They're trying to sexualize your children. And here's the thing: if they can hypersexualize your kids, then they can convince your kids to see no problem with a relationship with an adult. That is their goal. Guys, these people are coming after your kids. And you have to be aware, and you have to do what is right by your family. And I'm sorry, any conservative that is seeing what's going on today. Now, if you're just not paying attention, that's still your fault, honestly, but it's a little bit more acceptable, okay? Because I understand people are busy, they've got lives, they don't necessarily have all the time to pay attention to stuff like this, like maybe someone like I do. But if you are paying attention and you see the writing on the wall, you see what is going on in these schools, in this country, with all of the stuff that they're pushing onto your children, they're trying to soften the language around pedophilia. Guys, we told you this was going to happen. Told you this was going to happen. The line is way back there. We have crossed it a long time ago. Especially with all the transgender bullcrap where they're castrating children with this gender-affirming care. Let's be honest. It's just a sex change for kids. That's it. That's what it is. Call it what it is. It's not gender-affirming care. It is a sex change for children. And it happens to be killing people. Yes, there was a young 18-year-old boy who had a sex change done when he was a minor. And it eventually killed him. It eventually killed him. I believe that happened. I believe that was a Dutch case. It happened in like Denmark, I think. I can't remember exactly. But it's neither here nor there, man. This is insane. This is getting out of hand. And conservatives, you've got to be paying attention. You should be taking your kids out of these schools because you know that is the vessel with which they are going to try to push this type of garbage onto your children. So take your kids out of these public schools, homeschool your kids, and protect your children. Guys, it's getting out of hand, and we cannot continue to sit back and be tolerant of this garbage. Now, tolerant of most people, sure. We can be tolerant of 99% of people. But I'm telling you right now, I will never be tolerant of pedophiles. Ever. Ever. I will never be tolerant of pedophiles, and neither should you. And most of you are sitting there thinking, oh, duh, of course, Kendall, I would never tolerate that. But here you are on your butt, not protesting in the streets as they continue to turn your country into a pedophilic hellscape. Guys, get off your butt and do something. If you're not going to go protest, if you're not going to contact your reps, if you're not going to do that, at least go homeschool your kid so that they can be protected from this garbage. It's time to stand up, guys. Do what is right by your family and by your children. Get out of these cities where you know that this type of rhetoric is running rampant. You got to get out. The time is now. We have to stop being tolerant of this garbage. If we want to have any type of conservative movement in the future, we've got to protect our kids now. We have to. All right, guys, that is going to be the show for today. I will have another show coming for you guys on Monday. Oh boy, just guys, keep pushing, man. Keep pushing back against this woke movement. You got to, man, because this is getting out of hand. You got to, man. Go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section of this video. Tell me if my commentary on this was, if you like it or not, and if not, tell me why down in the comment section. If you do, tell me why. And make sure you're following me on Rumble. Let's fight back against all the censorship that is happening on YouTube. Follow me on all the socials down in the description. Let's try to grow these accounts. You guys can contact me on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we're putting out new videos. And guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.